All right, we fucking live. It's your brother Warrior Hebrew Perry once again. You dig? Set this live joint up real quick. Let me see what's cracking. Got the joint right here. Shit probably. Window. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. Remember that shit? I should play that shit for y'all. Let me see. My whole channel. Let me go to my joint real quick. Alright, two motherfuckers watching. So my niggas, they know the most intelligent people.
Tell us who we were.
Alright, cool. That's not it. Okay, here's a link. I just posted the link in the chat room. So anybody want to join the chat room? Yo, Big Al, that's the link. You see the link, B? Click on the link, bro. So you can join up. Anybody want to join up? It's right there. And if you if you took the trouble to come to my page, at least subscribe, man. Let's get this money. Y'all see the link? While y'all look, it's right there.
Peace, peace.
Peace. My brother Big L's back in the building, and I like the picture. Let me find out you're a big fan of that album.
Big time, bro.
Now we're gonna interview you. What is your favorite?
One love, bully. One love.
That's not bully.
Not bully.
That's not fucking Chief.
Peace, peace. Shalom, my brother Hebrew Perry. What's happening, man?
Chief got one of the best names on the internet. His name is Chief Holiday. That's one of the best names. I'm mad I didn't.
My birthday is right now.
Word. How's it doing? How you doing, bully? Is that what you? Can I call you that? Bully?
Yeah, brother. Peace. Yeah, bully,
Peace.
bully nation.
Don't call it bully. Call that nigga Chief.
Yeah, but it's Chief Holiday though, brother. What's your name?
All right.
Chief Holiday.
And it's Big L.
Yeah.
All right, peace, Big L.
Peace. You are Israelite, bro?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking about the definition of what an Israelite is, brother, then I guess I will consider myself that. So that's what we on here to talk about, right? Today about these terms that we using: Israelites, Hebrew, Muslim, whatever, right? I said something in the last chat room that I think that these terms are made up by white people to separate us, and I just wanted to get you guys' take on that as Israelites. Since you guys call everybody Israelites, you know what I'm saying, then as that are black people from that tribe. So just kind of wanted to explain that to me. And Brother Perry had said before on our show that Hebrew was just a language. So I just kind of wanted you guys to kind of to break that down to me, because I even asked white Jews, that are not religious. For instance, they say, "Well, I'm not religious, but they still a Jew." So I said, "Well, Jews are race of people, or what is that?" So I just wanted you kind of to kind of clarify that for me, brothers.
So yes.
Oh yes, Uga.
You can go ahead if you want. Go ahead.
Right.
Perry?
Right. So at the end of the day, when we say Hebrew Israelites, we're being Pacific. What Edomites and Ishmaelites and all these different races of people have in common with Israel is that they all spoke pretty much the same language, because they was all pretty much Hebrews. Hebrews are descendants of Abraham. So when I say Hebrew Israelite, I'm talking about the language. The term Hebrew is very all-compassing. It could mean anybody, you know, that's of the stock of Abraham. There's a lot of people that's of the stock of, or of the blood or the lineage of Abraham that are also considered Hebrews. So when the term Hebrew Israelite just means our language, Israelite meaning our nationality. That's all I meant by that.
Word. Think of it like as America, right? America is a nationality. We're all American, but we come from different backgrounds. Hebrew, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to clear this up for not only for myself, but for other brothers and sisters that might be listening to this. Yeah, I mean, you know, you say it's a nationality. Okay, so am I born a Hebrew Israelite, or do I go take a oath or something? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like break it down.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you're born as. There's no oath involved. We, as Israelites, we just look at the Bible and we see that the Bible is a powerful book dealing with prophecy and history and lineage and laws and things like that that we heavily agree upon. And we see that for the most part, the only people that fit the description of the Israelites are so-called people like you. But you can very well be an Edomite. That is also possible. Meaning,
right, so even when we say Edomites and Esau and all these other words and stuff like that, right? For me, you know, these are not words. These are Johnny come lately words, terms that were created by.
No, they're actually not Johnny come lately words, because the method that you use for dating things is very fallible. So when you talk about the scriptures, for instance, there's Dead Sea Scrolls that date back to 1800 BC. You understand? So, I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider ancient. You know, the third dynasty of Egypt wasn't no older than 2600 BC. So, and you know, if you're trying to say that there's a civilization out there somewhere that's 100,000 years, there's no way to prove that, because using carbon dating or radioactive dating or whatever dating you want to use is all based on a theory. The environment has to be perfectly aligned to what they're talking about for it to be accurate, you know, but they still use it today. I think they do it just to get a budget from whatever college they're from. But for the most part, it's really fallible.
Okay, well, because here's my thing. The reason why I say that because white people pretty much, the white Jews, you guys call them Esau, right? Pretty much politically run Judaism.
Right.
And they also run the publishing of the Bibles, the Torahs, and the Talmuds. I mean,
yeah, but I mean
the banking.
But as far as the Bible is really simple. Like the Bible is a great artifact. It's the greatest relic on this earth. It's the reason why it's the #1 top selling book. All you have to do is read it. See, you can't talk to me until you've read the Bible. You're like,
right, okay. Well, but I'm saying though, politically, we know that the Edomites or Esau and the Esau of those guys created, you know, they took the Dead Sea Scrolls and all other things and all other stories and stuff, and they compiled them and left stuff out, because we know they left stuff out, right? So, and they compiled these things to politically, those in political power all over the world. So now we see
actually they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. See, when the
Explain that.
Bible
Break it
was,
down.
when the Bible was put together, black people were still ruling certain parts of Europe. So as far as Spain and the Catholic Church is concerned, when you're dealing with Cesar Borgia and his father, Pope Rodrigo, yeah, they were starting to whitewash certain images and icons and things like that. But when Rome fell, those was actually Israelites that took over Europe, and they left the images all over Europe. That's why you should read.
So you're saying that the Moors, what they call them Moors, which is
The
another
Moors
term
was
too,
the Moors.
Israelites.
Listen, the Moors was just one part of that. You had blacks that was already embedded in Europe since the time of the Romans. Most of the so-called Israelites that didn't flee into Africa, they was captured by the Romans. They became prominent in Rome. You understand? They was the reason for the whole fall of Rome. And that's why you should read a book called it's a book written, it's called wow, I can't believe I just forgot.
We're talking about the secret relationship between Jews and blacks?
No, well, that's a good book to read too, but the book I'm talking about is called Nature Knows No Color Line.
Okay.
Because this book actually shows you all the coats of arms of Europe, and it encompasses the whole of Europe. You know, so it's deeper than just a couple of Moors who was under the auspice of Islam.
All right. So do you agree that the Judaism or the spiritual system that you follow comes up out of Africa?
I mean, it depends on what you want to consider to be Africa. At the end of the day,
the landmass.
At the end of the day, when you go back to 3000 BC, there's no one in Western Africa. There's really no one in the Americas. There's no one really in China. You know, most of the people are in what's considered today as the Mesopotamian.
Where you get that information at, brother?
I mean, I just use simple logic. You know, I look at history for what it is, and I use simple logic, and that's what it is. My thing that's different from the Europeans is that I understand that instead of putting a white face on the people that was over there, I understand that those people had to be dark. They had to be black people. You understand? But that's where it really started at, over in that area, that northeastern African area, that Mesopotamian area. And they was mainly dominated by what we consider to be Africans today. They started to go to Western and Southern Africa later on. And that's true.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I asked them the same question. I'm like, could the Hebrew Israelite movement have been some kind of psyop from the Khazars? But I mean, that doesn't discredit them being the Israelites at all.
Well, you know, I mean,
I mean, you hit on the nail on the head right there, though. We're talking about the not only the Khazars, but the cabal that basically created these religions to enslave our people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right, but we know that they didn't actually create any religion. When you understand what really went on in history, you'll understand that the Europeans ruled starting with the Macedonians, and then they had another long run with the Romans, and then they fell. And then Europe became a lot darker. So, I mean, you can't on one hand take the information that the so-called Europeans is giving you and try to run with it, when on the other hand, these same people that's giving you that information are telling you that the Egyptians was white. And this is what proves their whole theory. I mean, you come off as a hypocrite when you do that.
What up? Okay, you guys brought up the Moors. Here's another question I have. Historically, they were known as Islamic, right? Muslims. Some people consider them Hebrews. Well, people said they were Israelites, right? How were they Islamic? I don't get it.
Well, my thing is this, right? It takes a lot of time to do a lot of things. So if you just want to get to the point or the meat or the main fact of the matter, just look at it this way. Anyone you find in history that your logistics is telling you that they was more than likely dark and it was something peculiar about them, it was more than likely the Israelites. Because it's an ongoing thing. And the Bible starts the theme off by showing you what it was from the beginning. And these things are proven. You know, it's been proven already. So when you're reading about the Spartans, for instance, and you doubt on maybe the maybe the Hellenistic people of the Grecian area was actually dark-skinned people because they portrayed themselves that way.
Oh yeah, that's not the argument. It's not. I'm not saying they weren't black people. What I'm saying is, if people are saying they were Israelites, why were they considered Islamic? Why did they practice Islam? Was it just that they took the customs?
Because yeah, that's exactly why. You have an ongoing thing of a people whose one part of them are staying true to what they know, yet the other part of them have a lust for what their neighbors are doing. So yes, during the time when Islam was dominant, you best believe it was Israelites that probably sparked that. I mean, when you look into the second coming of Islam during the 1920s all the way up until now, it was African Americans that sparked that. And for the most part, I see my brother D Red is back in the building, and he was doing a good job of handling a lot of these type of questions. Like I said, there's a lot of brothers a lot sharper than me, so I'm gonna let my brother go in out.
Now you're good, Perry.
I appreciate if y'all mute your mics. He's going in.
Word.
So what was the question?
The Moors, all right. So my argument is not that they weren't black people. My argument is, if they were Hebrew Israelites, why did they practice Islam? But I guess Perry hit it right on the head with the whole. They took the custom of Ishmael.
Well, not even. We got to realize the Moors was an empire, so it was not a religious. Like when you think of Moors now, we think of Moors, the Moorish Science Temple of America. And so shout out to my brother Taharka, on that, and my boy Lord Abba. Yeah. But the Moorish was an empire, not a deen or a way of life. So you could be a Moor and be an Israelite or a Jew. You could be a Moor and be a Christian. I mean, you read the book by Dr. Lerone Bennett. It's called Shaping a Black America. You read that book, he'll tell you that there was a law that if a captive was found out to be a Christian, that they had to set them free. That this was a law in the British Empire. But so many of those black slave captives that they captured were slave. So many of the captive were Christians that they ended up having to change the rule. 1/3 of all people that they captured were already practicing the African form of Christianity. So now these are the facts that nobody wants to deal with. You see what I'm saying? So the misnomer that we were not already practicing the Hebraic tradition is a misnomer, and it's not accurate according to no historical text that we can find. I mean, so so that's to answer that question. So if you got anything else you can ask.
No, you're right. It was an empire. You can't really just pin it down to one thing. But is it fair to say that most of those people practiced Islam?
I think it was about a 1/3 split. I mean, because that's why I gave the reference from Shaping the Black America. He tells you that 1/3 of all the people that they captured were already Christian or practicing the African form of Christianity. So I would say it was a 1/3 split. You got to also remember a lot of those people who claim to be practicing Islam were only claiming to practice it for trade purposes, because the caliphate in Baghdad wouldn't allow you to do trade if you were not practicing Islam. So a lot of it was more of a
I would claim to be a Muslim just so I can do trade, but I'm still hold on to what I'm doing. So.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, peace, brother D-Red. Very accurate. What you're saying. I like to say this though. Even on the continent of Africa, you had a lot of different practices and different things that people were doing. But when we talk about the Moors, we're talking about Johnny come lately. You dig what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times when we be talking, we have conversations in different time periods, and we tend to think that the 1400s, the 1500s, even the 700s, or anything AD is ancient, but it's not. And so I think a lot of times we be having those kind of conversations, and we're putting, like a perfect example, we're putting Africa on the people that didn't call themselves African, or Hebrew on the people that didn't call themselves Hebrew or Israelites. You dig what I'm saying? So I just want you guys to kind of address that.
Okay, well, I can say this. A lot of the people, as far as calling themselves Israelite, they didn't. I agree with you on that. And as far as calling themselves Hebrew, they did. Those are English terms. But when you go to places like slavevoyages.com, now we know a lot of those ships ended up coming back to Africa because they revolted and came back to Africa. They landed in like Sierra Leone. So we know some of those ships. But if you just look at the names, I'm not talking about did they make it to America or not, because I've already arrived the point and used the reference material of Shaping the Black America to say 1/3 already were Christians. So I don't have to address that. But if you just look at the go to slavevoyages.com and you look at the names of the people that were captured and look at the name, how many of them had Yah in the name. Now they did not. Now we all know that even when you look at Kemet, they always put the names of their deity in their name. That's always been an African custom. So when you see Yah in the names of the people that were on the slave ships, you know that they practiced some form of Hebraic tradition. Now, did they call themselves Hebrew? Did they call themselves Israelite? Probably not. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just for the, the whole language thing, that we know that they didn't do that. But the idea that us in the West use to convey when we call ourselves Israelites is just to try to connect with those brothers and sisters that were brought over here and created townships like Israel Hill. So it's just a way of trying to connect ourselves for myself, especially being a Pan-Africanist, me trying to connect myself to the roots of what was going on in West Africa. And we know a lot of those people practice the Hebraic tradition.
Okay, well, yeah, man. I just say that politically, the reason why when I asked earlier, did politically the white Khazars or so-called Jews politically they own the term Hebrew, they own the term Israelite, right? So when you say Hebrew, they write themselves as the slaves that built the pyramids in Egypt, right? They're already saying that the Egyptians were white. Egypt is even white now. It's not even a part of the African continent. So they already have separated Egypt in our lifetime.
All right.
From the continent of Africa.
Hold on, Chief.
What? Go ahead, brother.
Hold on for 1 minute, bro. Going real deep with that. You asking a whole bunch of questions in one. You know what I mean? So let's just.
I can answer it, Pete. I can answer it, Pete.
I know you can handle anything, man. But I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't want him to go over the heads of the audience. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I got you.
You know, so let's just keep it real simple and specific as far as confrontation goes. Because right now you're questioning my brother. He don't have any questions for you. So we're going to keep it simple. Not multiple questions in one. You hear me, Chief? No disrespect to you, big bro.
Oh, no, it's all good, bro. And I'm not definitely trying to disrespect your brothers.
No, we know you're not. But just keep it.
Like we just here building, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But just keep it simple, though. Just keep it simple.
I got you.
When it comes to questions, anything else can go in. If you lecturing, do your thing. But when it comes to questions, we're going to keep it real pinpoint over here. All right? So ask him one thing, something simple. We gonna answer.
No, I already asked it. We were just building, but you guys can definitely build on what I was saying. Absolutely.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, Chief. And see, this is the point that a lot of people that practice Kemet, this is something that it took me a minute to understand, being somebody that used to subscribe to Kemet. You can't take one without the other. You can't take Israel out of Africa without taking Egypt. Because the interaction between Israel and Egypt was so vast that you can't take one without the other. So you made a very good point, Chief, when you said they're trying to make Egypt white. Why? Because if Israel is white, but they kept going into Egypt, white people can't hide in Egypt, in black Egypt. And black Israelites can't hide in white Egypt. You see what I'm saying? White Egyptians can't hide black Israelites, you know what I'm saying? And white Israelites can't hide in black Egypt. So they have to take them together. So any person that subscribes to Kemet, which I know you don't, but I'm just saying, but this is what the people that subscribe to Kemet don't understand. Anytime you propagate that Israel is white, you are helping them, same white folks, steal Egypt. Because they can't take one without the other, because the interaction between the two groups of people was so continuous and so vast that if you leave one, it kills your argument about the other. So those people are actually who subscribe to Kemet that try to propagate the Israel as white are actually working and helping racism, white supremacy ultimately take Egypt as well.
I absolutely agree with that. Ironically, yeah, man. I think here's the thing, though. I just want to stick to the terms when we talking about these words, like Moor, for instance. They didn't say it was a Moorish empire that conquered Spain and Europe, right? They say it was Turkish or blah 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 blah, right? Well, here's the thing: Moor only speaking Spanish, only represent a skin color, so they're black. You know what I'm saying? So we're taking words that are given to us by these people, and they're identifying us and separating us at the same time. And I just kind of wanted to, if we're going to get to some type of unity, I think that we're going to have to acknowledge that. And I'm glad, and I salute you brothers for actually saying that, because I think that's a step towards unification. Is just knowledge. You know what I mean? Because when you asked me was I Hebrew, or Israelite, I should have said yeah, but I didn't want to confuse you, especially along the line of my question. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. You're saying there's too many categories they're putting us in. Some people claim to be Moorish, some claim to be Islamic, some claim to be Hebrews, instead of claiming to be what they are, which is a black man from the motherland. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, not just the motherland, because I ask people this all the time, and nobody was there in the beginning of time. And who was the first people here, where they came from? I ask people this all the time. Is Mississippi older or younger than Zimbabwe? You dig what I'm saying? The earth is we're indigenous to this earth. Everything. I want all of mine. Shout out to King. I want all of mine.
Is it cutting off for any of y'all?
Huh?
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
No, we're indigenous to every part of this landmass. The white man came and started naming shit, started separating people. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
This is all ours. We were already here. So they make up these elaborate stories. Oh, we were carrying smallpox around to kill all the indigenous people off. Trust me, this right here. If we would have died from smallpox, them motherfuckers would have been wiped out. Just do your research on Hernan de Soto and what killed him. You know what I'm saying? What killed these dudes? So they died from disease, not us. They're lying. Once again, they're lying. And they're using us by separating us, by saying, you're more. It's ridiculous.
But see, and I agree with you on that to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I want to focus on Pan-Americanism before I focus on Pan-Africanism. Because you got to unite the people over here, because we have a more because of the admixture, we're more related to each other. I mean, you got Puerto Ricans that Taino Indian, African, or you know what I'm saying, and Spanish. People in America or a lot of us are Native American, and I'm not talking about the Mongoloid. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, the real native that was described as looking like Ethiopian. You know what I'm saying? You have us mixed with Native and European. So when you look at the admixture all throughout from North America all the way down to the tip of South America, we have a Native, African, European admixture from top to bottom. So we because of that admixture, we need to be focusing on uniting together under that common thread, and then focusing on, after once we've united, then unite with the brothers and sisters in Africa. You see what I'm saying? Because whether you believe you subscribe to Kemet or whether you believe you're Israelite, it's still those groups still exist over there. You still got the Gadome, you know what I'm saying? You still got the Limba, you still got the Rimba, you still got the Falasha, you still got the Tutsi, you still got all these other different tribal groups that subscribe to the Israelite creed over there, just as well as you got brothers that practice Ifa, you know what I'm saying, and other traditional African spiritual systems. So regardless of what you subscribe in, those brothers are still over there. So we still need to unite as one.
And hold on, D-Ray, let me say this real quick, right, before I mute my mic. You know, echoing what the sister Amani said in the chat room, because the sister Amani's in the chat room. And please, anybody that's watching, please subscribe to the young sister's YouTube channel. Subscribe and like her videos and everything. But like the sister said, you know, just now in the chat room, at the end of the day, you know, it's not really based on skin color, you know. And if y'all really want to know how I view white and black, it was a time when our forefathers looked at white. If they considered you white, it had nothing to do with your skin tone. It was a title that was given to you, meaning you're righteous. And if you was black, it was a title that was given to you, meaning you was negative. You understand? So you had black people that was giving themselves the title white, and it had nothing to do with skin color at all. And truth be told, white people are really not white. They don't match their eyeballs. Just like black people don't match their mustaches and their beards. So let's act like we know what's up. I'm gonna mute my mic.
No, I mean, I mean, we know that when we say black, we're not talking about the actual color. We know. I think most people know that because most black people are more of a hue of brown or derivative of that. Yeah. But I think black folks
use that for modern terms.
Yeah, you know
that's all it is. When we use words like Hebrew or African, we know we didn't call each other that during that time. I don't think the Kemetic people were calling each other Africans. I don't think the Israelites were calling each other Israelites in the English language. It's just we're using modern terms to describe this. When we say a black person, you and I are not ignorant. So we know what you mean when you say black people. It's people of brown shade. Now, other people, when they think of black person, because look, I've had arguments with people that'll say Beyonce's not black. She's not black. She's brown. And then, you know, we'll get into that argument where it's like, well, black people aren't black. Like the color.
No, this is my thing. This is my thing. There's times when our forefathers used the kind of language where if Beyonce is a wicked person, she may be described in the story as black based off of her actions. Let's not act like that doesn't exist in the equation, because this is deep. It's not simple. That's all I'm saying.
Word.
But that paradigm only came up when the white man started writing that paradigm into the equation. They took African, perfect example. When you use a fairy tale, when you use the animals and stuff, and your fairy tales and telling a story, those are African. Just because of using the word Africa, so you know what where it came from. It came from the continent of Africa. So white people just took it and put their spin on it and put their value systems in it. And that's all I'm saying. We need to go back to the original value system.
I mean, look. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and they did do that most recently. But when you go into the antiquity of the word white and black, it really had nothing to do with a person's race.
I see what you're saying.
And things has been written down since antiquity. And let me tell you this, brother, white people was not in power. So when you're reading certain things, antiquity, and it's dealing with the word white and black, it's not necessarily talking about skin tone. A lot of times it's talking about a person's deed. And funeral people always wore black at funerals and always wore white at weddings. And it had nothing to do with skin tone. And that's the only thing I want to point out there. All right? Leave me with my mic.
Okay, no, that's a good deal. Thanks.
Well, I just want to add to that and just say, like, I mean, I think we know that, but I think right now, what the problem is starting to happen is and I'm speaking for Israel, you know, so this is something I'm trying to get straight with the brothers. I think the brother brought up Hernando de Soto and Hernando Cortez, Cristobal Colon, aka Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama. When you go read a lot of those people, Amerigo Vespucci, they all describe how the people looked at, how the people look like over here. All of the people that they came in contact with, all of those people described as looking like Ethiopians, right?
Melanated.
You know what I'm saying? They were very melanated, exactly. Now, when you go read the people in Jamestown Colony, when you go read their information, they describe the people as a dark, swarthy with curly hair, something like an Ethiopian. You know what I'm saying? That's me paraphrasing, of course. Okay, so now when we talk about natives, we got to look at natives in that vein. You see what I'm saying? Now, anything that fits outside of that description has to be questioned, right? Now, when you read, I think it's the History of the Native Americans by Christopher Adair. I think his last name was Adair, but I don't know if it's Christopher though. But his last name was Adair. He said that the Native Americans range from dark skinned Ethiopians to pale white. So now, here's the clear distinction. So this is what I've been trying to get brothers and sisters to understand. It was two groups over here, pre-white folk, not just one group, homogenous group. It was two groups over here. Now they have rock art that displays this war between these two groups. Some places they were warring, like in Brazil and a lot of the South American places, they were at war. Some places, like if you find out about archaeology in California, they live side by side in peace, but they just separate but equal type situation. Other places they were at war, like in the southeast region. You see what I'm saying? That's why you had a lot of the so-called five civilized tribes were willing to enslave them because they had been at war with those Afro natives for the longest. So they had no problem enslaving other people that looked like the Afro natives because they didn't like the Afro natives that was already there. So now, when you got these white tribes who got embraced by white Europeans and got systematically, strategically placed at the heads of these different tribal councils to embrace more white people, because they placed those white-looking, aka Mongoloids, in Pacific and strategic places, and used them as the face of all Native Americans. So what we have got to understand is that every Native American ain't your goddamn brother. I'm talking to Israelites now. I'm not talking about Kemetic brothers and sisters or Moors and anything like that, because we have got to start putting ourselves in self-check. You see what I'm saying? See, we can't be so quick to say we in Africa, but we ain't African, right? Or all them Africans ain't our brothers just because they may be a Hamite. But yet and still we embrace every goddamn Native American, like every goddamn Native American is our brother.
Word.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's when you become disingenuous. Because we know the description of what the natives look like. And if you're embracing somebody that don't look nothing like those natives, what are you doing? You say that it's a black nationalist situation, but really it's some integration and shit. Because linguistically they don't share no affinity to us. DNA wise they don't share no affinity to us. Phenotypically they don't share no affinity to us. They don't share nothing with us. You see what I'm saying? So we have got to be honest about who the Native Americans were in antiquity, who they look like, what they look like. You see what I'm saying? Then we have to say, okay,
Hold on. I'm gonna speak to that real quick, right?
go ahead.
I'm gonna speak to that, and then I'm gonna end the show, right? For the most part, like I've always been saying, if you take a white seed, if you take a white seed, if you take a black seed and you put them 400 years ago when they was dominating, things changed. If that black seed decided to take on a white woman, and then that black seed that took on that white woman take on a white woman, and we have that scenario for 400 plus years, you still dealing with somebody, no matter what the phenotype, that's a black seed. So if they decide to do a DNA test on somebody like that, yes, it's going to come up as a white person, but that still don't determine if they're Israelite or not. And that's why the Bible speaks of tares and non-tares. You could tell an Israelite by the spirit. And for the most part, yes, most Israelites would be dark or would look like their forefathers. That's prophesied. For the Bible say that Jacob's seed shall not turn pale. But for the most part, yes, you have some Israelites out there that may look like an African, an East Indian, what a modern day Arab may look like today. That's not taken away from the fact that back in the days they were dark skinned. You understand that? So I'm just gonna put that out there. Listen, I'm gonna put that out there and I'm gonna let that rest. Yes, you have tares amongst Israel.
Peace. Brother Perry, before you close out, can I highlight the people? Just the brothers on the panel. I
got a question for the brothers on the panels after as well.
All right, hold on, Big Al. Let Joe Cool get his shit in. And maybe you and him could go at it, because Big Al was pretty universal, so.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I appreciate the opportunity. I came in about 10, 15 minutes ago, and there's a great book by a woman named Jacqueline Jones. It's called The Dreadful Deceit. And it talks about how they set up, quote unquote, classism, which is black, white, blah, 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 within the colonies of America in the 1600s, right? It was a case that happened from started calling those that they enslaved, who we know as Israelites. Not everybody that came was Israelites to America, but the majority of them were Israelites, right? So they classified them as black. When I say they, I'm talking about the governmental structure here in America, right? And to piggyback on what you said earlier, Perry, about the wicked people being white, black, that goes to children of the light and the children of the darkness. But to go further past that, the dream of deceit tells us plainly and clearly how these people think. When I say these people, I'm talking about these people that are making laws, putting them in place, and they classify people, right? African people, quote unquote, on the continent, right, themselves as Africans. Friends, I've only seen, and I realized that mainly us here in America, and maybe some of the other quote unquote slave states, we've classified ourselves as black, right? Which is, they taught us to do that. That's what it was. They taught us to do that. So what it is, we got to get out of that mind state. That's racism, white supremacy on 100 right there. That's all racism, white supremacy. Because now we're being called what somebody else called us. And in actuality, we're not, they can't label us and tell us who we are. If we dig into some books.
I understand exactly what you're talking about, but it's a lot to go on in 15 minutes. It's a lot to take.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a big fan of slowing things down, not going over the people's head.
Well.
But compartmentalize. So let's keep it simple. Let's give the people a quick rendition on who you are, Joe Cool, because you're definitely somebody that I want to be a fixture on my show. So let's let Big L give you a quick interview, and let's, you know, and then we'll end the show somewhat after that, after everybody get a shout outs and all that.
Yeah, first of all, I agree 100% with what Joe was saying, right? We were taking on identities of the slave master, basically. He's given us an identity, is basically what he's trying to say. We're taking identities that don't identify with us. I had a question for everyone on the panel, right? I'm assuming everyone here is born in America, right? And what I mean by that is American black, not Hispanic black or from the UK.
Descendants of slaves.
Word.
Yep.
So well, for y'all that don't know, my mom was Mexican, right? But my dad's a Dominican. He's a black Dominican. And I've noticed a lot, right? Black Hispanics, or as I like to call them, and as I label myself, Afro-Latinos, identify African or black. And I see Houston. D-Red, what part of Houston you in?
South Paul.
Do you see a lot of Hispanic and black camaraderie?
Yeah, down here, the Mexicans, you know, they love us down here. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I know it ain't like that everywhere, but down here, I would say the black folks are the most dominant and influential group, even though we're not the largest. And here in Houston,
no doubt. I spent 2 years in Houston, so I seen the camaraderie myself. But I also grew up in LA most of my life. And as I was told in the 90s, there was a lot of, you know, going back and forth with blacks and Latinos. Now it's different generation where we all get along better, right? So the bigger question is, what do you think it's going to take for Hispanic people who are descendants of slaves, and the UK who are descended from slaves, and people from Asia, for all of us to come together and not necessarily come together, but identify as what you are? And I know slavery and the historical racism towards black people has the pride inside the black man. There's such a stereotype of a black man here in America that I guess that's why Latinos who are black and other black descendants come to America and say, well, I don't want to be a black person because there's a stereotype, right? So if all they're being told is black people in America, you know, stay away from them, they're more likely to say, I'm not black, I'm Latino, I'm not UK, I'm British. What do you think it's going to take for these people to wake up? Because up half and half problem, and I know some people have that issue of being mixed and identity. I get that, but I'm Afro Latino, right? I grew up speaking Spanish. You know, the culture, most of the part, because even though my dad's a black man, he's Dominican, so he speaks Spanish food.
Right, and let me say this.
But
quick. Hold on, Big Al, before you go even more. I want Chief to address this first. But Chief, you you must be very brief because I want D-Red to close it out.
All
So
right,
I want
my bad. Go ahead.
I want Chief to address what you're saying real quick. Chief, you there? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
All right. Can you address what the young brother is saying? He's an Afro-Latino. His dad's from the Dominican Republic. His mom is from Mexico. Address that real quick and then let D-Red close it out.
All right. Well, peace, brother. Big L. I want to say this. When you think about Haitian and Dominican island, right? It's on the same island. You got Spanish people came and took over the Dominican side, named the Dominican, named the people Dominican. And it's what we're talking about. What you're calling yourself. When you call yourself a Hispanic, you're saying that you are ownership of these white people in Spain. That's first thing. Second part is that the indigenous people of Americas and the islands in Central and South America, let's just say Mexico, because my grandfather is a black Mexican. So the indigenous people of Mexico are black. You dig? The indigenous people of Mexico are black. So they have created this person called a Native American. Well, there's no DNA for a Native American. Native American people are black. They're not anything else until they mix with white people who created Latinos, who created Hispanics, who created Dominicans, who created Haitians, so on and so forth. It's ridiculous. So that's what we're talking about when we're saying give back these names, because these names separate us as brothers and sisters. So you, for instance, are, with all due respect, I mean, if you have a mulatto, right, and there's different levels of mulattoes, and they made all that other shit up, I don't subscribe to that. If you black, we want you in our family. That's just me. But they have created a caste system that creates separation by skin color. So if I teach you Spanish, and now you have a difference because I'm French. I speak French, but we from the same island, but we have a difference because we speak a different language, because two different European countries oppressed us. So I think that we're gonna have to give them back their languages. We got to give them back their names, and come together under one name, under one banner. Let's just say, for instance, let's just use Haiti and Dominican Republic. What they can come together and be a powerful people if they all came together under one banner. So I think that we did that same thing in America and the Americas. We would not only outnumber and outpower the European influence in the Americas, as well as in America and all the rest of the world.
Right.
So yeah, that's my take on that, brother. Ooga ooga.
Right. Let me say this. Ooga booga. My nigga Chief. Ooga ooga. And that's his and any nigga I see saying ooga ooga, you got that from Chief. You biting. So at the end of the day, I wish wealth and success on all and all my brothers. And Chief just went in. He said a mouthful. He said a whole lot just now. This is a very educated brother, but it depends on the direction of the conversation. So I'm gonna let this continue to go on because it need to go on. And what Chief pretty much said to our Dominican brother, he's Dominican, part Mexican. I consider them to be our people. D-Red does too, but he'll tell you it a lot depends on the phenotype. I agree. I'm pretty sure Chief agrees as well when it comes to that. That's a sensitive topic. It's not something we necessarily on right now. But you got a couple of real cats on the panel, and let's get D-Red's take on everything. You know, if we are gonna close it out, I would like to close it out on D-Red's take. I feel like D-Red is the most well-rounded out of all of us. It's like kind of a toss-up between Red and Big L. But you know, I would like to hear D-Red's take since he didn't talk. Go ahead, Red. Go ahead.
D-Red definitely got the cake though. He's well-rounded for sure.
But check it. All I gotta say is as far as the Dominican thing, I try not to do. I'm kind of with Chief on that. As far as the separation of the island, knowing how the island got separated, so I don't really too much get it. You know, we just got a Spanish side and a French side. That's pretty much how I look at it. Same people, same island, same whatever. The Mexican thing that gets tricky to me. I mean, you got white Mexicans, you got what they would call mestizos, you got mulattoes, you got the indigenous African people. I mean, like I said, you go to La Costa Chica, it depends on where she's from. If she's from Acapulco, a lot of
Yeah,
times those
she's from
Mexicans,
there.
Acapulco,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Acapulco is kind of next to the town of Yanga, which you had a large black population in that area. So, I mean, the chances are she's probably you know, a black Mexican or have black ancestry real close in her lineage. Uh, so a lot of times it depends on region where you at in certain places. Like I said, the history of Mexico when they did their whole process of blanqueamiento, they basically pushed the blacks to the fringes of Mexico. So Acapulco was definitely one of those fringe areas. So as far as like I said earlier, all Latinos, nah, I don't think all of my our brothers and sisters. I mean, all you gotta do is check Brazil. You see what I'm saying? I mean, go to Brazil. Their process of blanqueamento was so strong that you got white Portuguese walking around Brazil, calling themselves Brazilian. Would I consider Giselle whatever her name is, Tom Brady's wife, my sister? No, she's a Brazilian, but she's straight up Portuguese. So we just we gotta do like I said, we gotta look at a lot of this stuff. The as far as the Afro Latinos or the I think we gotta. It's gonna take other Afro Latinos to do that homework on those uh, brothers and sisters that don't want to identify as a person of African descent, because I think that's where the divide comes in, and it's sad that those people that don't want to view themselves as of African descent have fallen victim to United States propaganda, because it just shows a lot of times that those people unwillingness, in some cases willing ignorance, or sometimes it's just benign ignorance, or you know what I'm saying, that they refuse to understand that initially the largest Garveyite places were Cuba, Puerto Rico, and places in Latin America. He had some of his biggest uh, some of the most his most chapters were in those countries. So this is a new phenomenon of them not wanting to identify with us. I think us in America, we have some work to do, because we have to realize that it's part of our behavior that that reason why people don't want to identify with us, because we fall a victim to the propaganda as well. You know what I mean? We fall a victim to being willing to participate in the ignorance and the foolishness. We've fallen into basically being niggers, I would say, because they say we're easily seduced by trinkets. Well, what do you see? You know what I'm saying? You see even conscious people trying to get Benzes. When they tell you that niggas are, they don't think for themselves, they're easily seduced by trinkets. They can't do it without our help. No, we're not serious, and we're not to be taken serious. I mean, a whole lot of stereotypes that they float out there, but we fall right in line with those stereotypes. So, for a brother or sister that's coming from Latin America, where they still practice Santeria, you know what I'm saying? They still holding on to some of their African traditions. They look at us like you niggas is clowns. So why would somebody that look at you as a clown, they can't respect you enough to want to identify with you? Flip side to that is, if we didn't fight during the civil rights movement, yeah, their asses couldn't be here. So that's where the whole disconnect comes in. A lot of those people don't know the American history. They don't know what stuff like feminism did to the black psyche, and how it destroyed the black family, utterly destroyed, gutted it. Because feminism kicked the man out of the household, and the woman chose to stay over the man in some cases, in a lot of cases, and it just utterly decimated us, to the point where a lot of times our women don't even know how to act and conduct themselves, which in turn makes the Latino woman look at the
Right, all
sister and be
right,
like, why does she?
all
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
Hey, can I add something real fast, Perry? Real quick.
Add something to that, man. Then after that, we're gonna hit the show.
Okay. I was saying when we talk about let's just say the Hispanic people, right? Because they have lied to them and told them too that their dark skin comes from the slave trade, they look down on the darker people that are indigenous to their people. I just asked Mexican people this or people from and the further south, by the way, too, they'll tell you that they identify with being African people and that they know that their ancestors were black, by the way, and that the black people built the pyramids in Mexico, not Hispanics, not Aztecs, not Incas, black people. So I'm proud to be black, and I just want to teach other brothers and sisters to be proud to be black. And I think once we start teaching that this is a black world and that black people created everything, I think that you'll start seeing more pride, not only from black people, but other people that once they see, say for instance, they find out that they have black in their DNA, which everybody have black in their DNA.
Right.
That it should be, yeah.
Big L, you got a shout out you want to put out there real quick, and everybody get a shout out.
Yeah, I'm glad we did this, bro. I know this was spontaneous, right? It was just you and me in a hangout. We said, let's start this shit up, man. And it was a nice build, man. I hope I get a build with all you brothers again. Because this was nice. I needed this.
Right. No doubt. So, all right, man. So at the end of the day, subscribe to D-Rag. He has a channel. Believe it or not, he lends his talents to a lot of different brothers' channels. That's his methodology. He get a lot of money. I don't know why he do it that way, but that's how he do it. That's my big bro. I love him to death. Subscribe to D-Rag. Subscribe to Chief Holiday. He's a big bro. Subscribe to Six Dynasty. Anything affiliated with them brothers, please subscribe and definitely subscribe to me. You know what I mean? And whatever chicken you got laying around, send it to the kid, because you know I'm gonna do it justice. I'm gonna put it to good use as far as our people is concerned. And also, you're gonna see the same video on my big brother Big L's channel, who I give permission, full permission. If he wants, he can put these two videos, this one and the one before, on his channel. And I'm pretty sure I want to give his little last whatever out there real quick. Go ahead, Big Al.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And once again, man, I hope we get to do this again, because all of y'all knowledgeable brothers, man.
Right, and with that, I'm gonna shut it down. It's over. It's a wrap. But guess what, y'all? I'm starting a new live stream right after this, and it's gonna be music. So if you want to join on that, you cool to join on that. That's not gonna be monetized. It's gonna be straight music. It's gonna be music and cats just really kicking it for real. And that one is not monetized. So I'm in this joint. I'm about to start another one. So tune in for that too, because it's gonna be straight music and we're gonna be taking requests.
Got you. I like that.
No doubt. So peace to the family.
Peace.
Deuces.